Good morning. Today is Monday, February 20th at 11:20 minute, 11:20 minute in the morning. Um, Today we're gonna discuss about the new commemoration of Russian invasion in Ukraine. It's it seems never end. It seems forever fighting, forever war. It seems it doesn't give us any clue where it's gonna end or when it's gonna end. But we all can try to understand this. So in this commemoration, during this week or last week, since last week, they all gathering in Munich, Germany. All the world leader that include the Russian delegation, but not the real Russian government, but the opposition or the exiled Russian who would love to see a peaceful world in everywhere, include Russia. So they all ran away. They ran away and they find a sanctuary somewhere else, not in Russia. So they flee from Russia. Anyway, so all the world leaders gather except the Russian leader, of course, because he's a pariah, discussing how to speed up the war or peace in Ukraine. Even the Chinese delegation that was led by Wang Yi. Wang Yi is the foreign minister of China, and his speaker, his name is Zhou Bao. He keep mentioning or saying that Chinese perspective in Ukraine is based on the futures of Taiwan takeover scenario. So whatever he said, it's based on Taiwan in the future of takeover scenario. Instead of working on humanity or world peace. So this is like ridiculous. These despots are proud and thought of being patriotic to invade other communal or humanity or decent population called country and prescribe menace, destruction, mass murder, and rape plan or idea. So disgusting and shameless. How could such a leader talking about taking over another country or another territory while actually they already have a stretched vast variety and half billion population, but they're not wealthy, they're not modern yet, and they still want to take over another territory. That's like ridiculous. He needs to focus on his government to provide the best for the people and build infrastructure that is better than the one that they want to take over, and then offer to the country next door, hey, do you want to join us? We're wealthier, you be wealthy, you be rich, and we will build everything here to make you happy. But instead they just, okay, we're gonna take over, we're gonna kill you all, or we're gonna destroy all the city. That's so ridiculous. So forgot about this part. There is sounds like a movie from old barbaric uncivilized modern civilization. We have seen it on every TV channel about documentary or education. So it's widely available on every entertainment channel like Netflix. At any time they want to watch but the sadistic war and worst catastrophic to humanity. Excuse me. Wow, sneeze on humanity. As a human being, these generals have never learned a bit. They never learn a bit. They don't want to learn a bit with their jogging, push up, and basic training brain. So, not much thinking about how much it costs to get just a peaceful world. So, the military academy did not teach them how to reach a peaceful world and getting along with the others and get more wealthy for their people, but instead how to attack the other country. What a stupid military academy that they call Science Military Academy. So basically, it's not sustainable for world peace and security, even in their own country. The security level is supposed to be at the highest, but instead they want war. They want to destroy their security. What kind of security or defense that against security? Let's do some reflection about forever war. Does that sound like defense and security level at highest level or maximum? So we are wondering if they learn it from the most advanced, creative, innovative military academy that guarantee quickly win the war and speedy rapid peace and order in a quick time, or just only bringing down a misery. So prescribing misery or mass murder or genocide. And that's how we measure the military academy advance, or is it advanced military school or just antique school that based on old theory or old Sun Tzu war kind of. It used to be people proud of reading the strategy of Sun Tzu war, which is so ridiculous. The war, how to exterminate people, or how to choke a city by surrounding it, or Mao Zedong war, surrounding all over the place, taking over the suburb and then finally taking over the city and murdering each one by one. That's not a war. The war basically offering a peace. The war is a mean to a peaceful deal. So in this case, it's very funny. They seen in a movie, they seen in a book, they seen in a documentary how bad the war gonna be. So we have thought that Chinese is the new global kind of superpower, but hearing the military long goal and plan to have a war just for a small additional regional territory, which is called Taiwan, and will sacrifice everything for it, it sounds so idiotic. No brainer. I mean, like, what kind of brain that think that way? So this no-brain military academy that taught them that way, and the graduate is like the general, and maybe Xi Jinping is graduate from there too. Somehow, it's not down to earth. So with a bunch of idiot taking classes, of course the graduate student or the general or bunch of idiot. Instead of, why not focus on making sure the whole population and the vast stretched regional territory will be a super rich and super happy, and maybe want to spread the wealth and happiness to the neighboring country like Taiwan or Vietnam or whatever, to offer them, if they all want to be wealthy and happy like everyone else in the PRC. But apparently not. Everybody in the PRC, some of them are still poor. If you see the villagers, they probably eat once a day. So, but it's foolish knowing that Taiwan is wealthier than China. No wonder they are not happy to join China at any time soon, since it was separated, or that is why, or the reason, to not joining the PRC. This exactly sounds like Ukraine and any other forced takeover or invasion that was actually so dumb funded. So there you go. It's dumbfounded. It's just no brainer. Why? Why Russia want to do that? A lot of people warning them. Even Finland keep calling Russia, the Finland president or prime minister keep calling him, keep calling Putin. Hey Putin, be careful! Don't do that! Don't do that! But he just knucklehead, and he was just a graduate from uh, what so-called scientific military academy in a laughingly, in a comedic way or satirical way. So just inspirational to those who wants to be the next superpower with a lot of follower or alliance leader, like this guy here, Joe Biden. He's so inspirational. He's unafraid. He is so brave. He went to Ukraine in the middle of bombing and shelling of the city. Even when he was there, the siren was on for an hour because there were activity in Belarus. They have a military drill that over there, and Ukraine didn't want to blow it off, and beside Biden not only visiting Ukraine, he also telling Putin. He called Putin, telling him he's coming. An hour before he came, he called him up, say, "I'm coming, so better be watch out, or we're gonna annihilate you if you do something stupid." I guess that's what he probably tell him. So he stand up for any country that is sovereign and defends the world peace and world order, just like this guy Joe Biden, who actually ruled the world by peace and world order, not war and chaos. How many followers and alliances he has, and how populist and becoming a very top leading leader of the world compared to Putin. What kind of leader is Putin? Who follow him? Does he has many alliances? Does he has a followers? Is he a populist? So that's a legitimate question to Putin. So Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, Lukashenko, or Viktor Orban. Do they want to be in a world peace spot? So will there be any country so happy to follow this spot, Xi Jinping, Putin? Honestly, no. So who is reflecting all of those real strong man at display? A fun, peace-loving leader of the world, a real tough leader who unafraid to visit Kiev or Ukraine, and even telling Putin that he is coming in the middle of the dangerous war zone. An hour before he depart to Kiev, he called Putin. Even Putin does not have the gut to be in Bakhmut. So who is really the real unafraid strong man here? As usual, the Russian will twist this optic with propaganda to override the Putin's scary leader image. This is like the story of remember Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She was afraid together with Donald Trump. They're all afraid they have to switch off the light on the airplane to just arrive in Iraq. They were all afraid of ISIS or something or Afghanistan. So basically, this guy has no fear in his eyes. Look at his eyes. He's just so calm. He's enjoying his time, and he knows all his brave men will stand guard and ready to annihilate whoever get in the way. So look at him. Does he look like a Putin? No. Does he look like Donald Trump? It's different quality. This man is an Iron Man. This is a real Iron Man. Have a guts. Have a guts. Have a gut to lead the world in peace. That's even more guts. More gut is just to destroy. What kind of leader is just destroy? That's not a leader. It's evil. So this guy is the real leader. I think Putin need to follow this guy. Putin need to forget about this image. He just destroys his own image. Putin is just like nobody compared to this. It's not even stand at par with him. And this guy, Joe Biden, he also threatened Xi Jinping, if you ever help Putin, I will block all your economical activity. So he can deliver that. He's the real world leader that will deliver whatever his strength to fight for the world humanity, the world peace. That is very rare. That is very rare. So even Putin doesn't have a cut to be at Bakhmut. So who is really the real unafraid strong man? As usual, the Russian will twist this optic and propaganda to override Putin's scary leader image. From the optics shown that Biden talked to Zelensky in the presidential palace in Kiev, Ukraine, and then went to St. Michael Church to pray and walked to the Memorial Hero Square and raised flowers. And this is his 8th visit to Ukraine, not his first. So he keep coming back, unafraid, so brave. So this optic also shown the real strong man. Biden walked unafraid or unflinched, calmly, not running scared, when the siren wailing for 19-20 minutes as a reflection of military activity in the Belarus. So how come Putin did not see and be the first to let go Ukraine? Don't bother Ukraine, let it go and apologize as a humble, strong leader on the real world stage. So Putin blew it off. So many chances to be a real world-class leader, and this inspirational historical moment ever ring a bell to Xi Jinping to rush visit to Taiwan and telling Taiwanese to be free on their own and tell them he has wide long territorial stretch to take care of and he should be so busy and half billion population to take care, so he should be so busy. So he's gonna leave Taiwan alone. So he is so busy, don't have a time for invasion. That's what Xi Jinping could be shown as a real world-class leader. He has a chance right now. Let's see if he's gonna do it, but I doubt it, because they're all silly, goofy, that's what they call it. Moreover, consequently, if China is supporting Russia militarily, Biden is always keep his threat real. to block any Chinese company or government agent economically. So they will be punished, not as in a rhetorical, but has been keep doing it. Biden seems to know how to deliver the united response on humanity violators, unafraid and pretty stern and strong. Is this the strong man that all communist countries dream of? In the form of a strict capitalist that might choke them right away. So they be choked by now. So all this, any humanity violators country in the world, they be choked by now seeing this optic. What can people expect from the Sleepy Joe, as Trump always call him up, compared to Putin puppet Trump that walk in the shadow of Putin? Trump is walk in the shadow of Putin. And this guy, he is unafraid. He's gonna look at Putin in the eye and just annihilate him. He is fearless. And he has proven with his big talk, with his aviation sunglasses, ready to snap. So any humanity violators, get ready for Joe Biden. The war was understandable for Wang Ji in the conversation with all the reporters said the war was understandable as Ukraine used to belong to Russia. What the hell is he talking about? And accusing Ukraine is a NATO proxy. Ukraine wasn't a NATO proxy. Ukraine signed a pact. It's called a Warsaw Pact or Minsk Pact, something like that, in the early surrendering of nuclear powers that Russia, United States, and England or Britain supposed to protect Ukraine from any attack trading with their nuclear warhead. So they pull all the nuclear warhead and relocate them to Russia. And at the end of the day, Russia attacked them anyway. So Ukraine is not a NATO proxy, not even want to join NATO. But since Russia pushed them so far, so much, and bullied them, that makes them want to be a NATO that has an Article 5, which attack on one nation, that means attack the whole NATO. So they all have to come rescue and punish them, attack them back. So never condemn Russia since it's a good neighbor relationship over Ukraine sovereign, and so this Wang Ji never want to condemn Russia. Wang Ji say he will never ever condemn Russia because they have a good neighborhood relationship over this good neighborhood relationship is over the Ukraine sovereign and Ukraine right to exist. So it's more important to have a good neighborhood relationship with Russia and don't care about Russia attacking Ukraine. That's what Wang Ji said. In a twisted manner that sounds like he's a good guy, but he's just no bad guy. He's just another bad guy. So for him, for Wang Ji, the war is justified. But murdering mass of people is not justified. This is like ambigu. Chinese politics is always ambigu all the time. They like yes and no, yes and no, yes and no, like confused people. So Chinese leaders are all confused people. So Chinese view is always what is the advantage for them and how Chinese will propose the peace as long as not hurting its good neighborhood relationship with Russia or just basically pro-Russia. So that's why Xi Jinping tomorrow is gonna meet with Putin in Moscow to be a good neighbor. And Ukraine is not Chinese good neighbor because it's far away from Chinese. And this is the Chinese philosophy. Chinese is always want to use balanced approach, not only defending, not only defending Ukraine, but most importantly by fostering Russian interests. So as if you're defending Ukraine, or Ukraine should not be hurt. It's a sovereign country. It's people in Ukraine don't want to be with Russia, but Ukraine used to be Russian, so Russian can take it back. This is all funny BS. This is the roadmap for peace that Xi Jinping or Chinese will use in brokering the peace talk with Russia tomorrow with Putin in Moscow. So just like the spy balloon that invaded the US, instead of saying, sorry, it was a storm drifted away situation and that the US might just let it go or return it. Instead, it deflected by saying it's just peaceful weather balloon that went out of control and US no need to get hysterical about it. Oh, come on. The US is not hysterical. It just shoot down any invaders. So what's so hysterical about it? And trying to lie at most people that know that Chinese always lie. This is like weird. The US understand and realize Chinese will always lie in their diplomacy. Their diplomacy sucks, lied but get caught. So it's really, really suck. So this framework of thinking will not excel in a more sharp and direct settlement on a peace deal. Too many baggage or agenda and interests that China wants to carry in doing everything in life. They include research and technology innovation by considering so many unrelated and false harmony of yin and yang that we see every time China wants to lead the invention or leading in the creative ideas, which is not gonna happen. Just too many baggage. So that's why they always fail. So it's always pull back to the heritage and it will never leave or take off to another level. Chinese need to get rid of this circular evil that goes around and around with chicken or egg first. So the journalist somehow did not question the autocratic bureaucrat in this commemoration of Ukraine invasion. That this actually is so risky. That's what they need to ask. How come you don't calculate this risk? Because this is so risky and could sacrifice all the country resources and facing an international sanction or blockade or sanction. So why Chinese still thinking the very terrible idea of taking over Taiwan? Why? That's what they need to ask all the time. Isn't it reckless and could so unpatriotic by abandoning the whole country for just unnecessary gain in a small province or territory to be in the federation? Something to ask. The journalists need to be sharper and straightforward, shoot in the heart, and tell them what it is. That Taiwan or Ukraine is just a small province, small territory that just create more problem later on could be rebellious, could be sabotage, could be anything. Because when people are unhappy, it's more control to do, it's more security to do. And then how could they go past the development and rebuilding if that's what they keep doing all the time? So try to gain a um, good wealthy country like Taiwan by a poor country like China. It just doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense if China offer, okay, if you join with us, look at all of us. We all wealthy, we all normal, we all happy. So would you want to be happy? Would you want to be wealthier? This is just like in the case of EU. All these poor countries want to join the EU. Why? So they can join the territorial defense, so they don't have to have a big military presence. So they can be open up the border and less headache with the law and regulation and all that, because the EU provide them all. So there you go. Think twice, Xi Jinping and Putin, if you want to invade another country anytime soon, because that doesn't work in the real modern world nowadays. Those days are over, man. And military school need to wake up. That's not what you guys need to teach at school or at the academy, because that just prescribing a chaos in the futures. All right. And I'm happy that we have a leader that can step up to the plate and be a real, true leader. Although he's old, but he's a real leader. He doesn't need to take off his shirt and ride on a horse like a Putin. That's just optic, but lie. A bunch of lie doesn't stick, man. Does not stick. Goodbye, and thank you for listening. And keep fighting for the democracy and humanity.